Bill and Ted of Excellent Adventure fame captured an era and an age in movies, paying homage to the teenage slackerdom that defined a generation, which is why it's somewhat jarring to see the franchise get a sequel some 30 years later, but also so illuminating. Bill and Ted Face the Music Out Friday does just as its title promises, exploring the life of characters that seem too of their time to make a modern-day resurgence, but are actually all the more compelling for fully embracing their older selves as witnesses to what life and history gives us as it continues to unfold, ready for it or not. In the third installment, Bill and Ted are no longer the happy-go-lucky kids they once were. That role is reserved for their peppy daughters. Indeed, the far-fetched time travel plots of the films only reinforce the realities of true life. The metalheads have grown up adrift in a world where their music hasn't been embraced despite the prophecy in earlier movies that it would be. Since there are plenty of real-life Gen Zers with bands or other pursuits that never made it and are still trying to figure out what to do, the goofiness of Bill and Ted speaks to the way in which many of the people who grew up watching them have themselves refused to grow up. The movie's sense of instability is easy to relate to, particularly as middle-aged people today have found even stable professions shaken by the economic roller coaster of the last 20 years, culminating in the pandemic crisis. But there's a flip side to the midlife malaise and joint couples therapy that Bill and Ted are stuck in, which also reveals a hidden truth for much of Gen X. They don't get the credit they deserve. Bill and Ted are slacker dudes hovering around 50 who have managed, despite their own cluelessness, to embark on successful time travel adventures and even cheat death himself before he became one of their band members. True, they generally succeed in life through dumb luck and a serendipitous confluence of events, but they're smarter than they're perceived to be and often surprise us. Despite what many fans might think, they're not stoner dudes in disguise. Nor are they full-on Valley or surfer boy types. Writers Ed Solomon and Chris Matheson confirmed this long ago, and Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves said they landed the roles because they didn't play them as stoners or airheads. They're actually really sweet guys who are nice to everyone they encounter, no matter how tweaked or crazy they are. Except their evil alternate selves, whom they battle in the second film. They are endearing characters because they are not malicious or angry. Okay, they get a bit testy in this one, but they're 30 years older, dude. Their amiability is a big reason why many fans will likely indulge in this sequel. And their approach to life could be what we need right now. The major directive of the new installment, after all, is that Bill S. Preston Esquire, Winter, and Ted Theodore Logan, Reeves, are the leaders of the band Willed Stallons, which includes their wives, Joanna and Elizabeth, Jayma Mays and Erin Hayes, and have it in their hands to craft the epic song that brings about world peace and creates universal harmony. That was and is a very 80s notion. We could use some of that high-minded optimism in these dark times. A quick recap on how they got to this point. In Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, 1989, an emissary from the future, Rufus, portrayed by the late George Carlin, taught the two social buddies how to travel through time so that they could collect personages of historical significance to ace their high school history report, graduate and move on to their loftier musical goals. In Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, 1991. Maniacal, mechanical clones from the future come to kill them and undo the predicted future success of their band. But with the help of Death, William Sadler, and a brilliant heavenly alien named Station, they strike back at their alter egos. With clever cinematic tributes to auteurs ranging from Ingmar Bergman to Tim Burton, Bogus is superior.